Founded in 1976, EcoCycle is one of the oldest and largest nonprofit recyclers in the United States and has an international reputation as a pioneer and innovator in recycling, resource conservation, and zero waste. Recycling education programs, both locally and nationally, have not done enough to include the Latino community. So EcoCycle created a pilot program in Longmont, Colorado, where Latinos account for more than 25% of the population. The goal was to create a model that could be replicated in other communities. This video highlights the steps taken in the first stage of the pilot program, which resulted in a 130% increase in recycling participation in the trial neighborhood, and it includes lessons learned and plans for stages 2 and 3.
My name is Kary Schumpert, and I'm the Longmont Outreach Coordinator for EcoCycle. I have been fortunate for the last 2 years to work on the Latino Outreach Project. The environmental community not always sure how to reach out to the Latino population, and EcoCycle not only recognizing this, but wanting to correct that problem and also help other organizations to solve that problem.
My name is Benavidez. I'm a member of the Board of Directors and the Vice President of EcoCycle. I've been highly involved with the EcoCycle recycling movement for over, I'm going to guess, close to 30 years. We had a large population of our community that wasn't being served with recycling. We, as a people, Latino culture, we also want to participate, whether that's recycling, whether politically. We just have to have someone who trusts us and we can trust in.
We have been wanting to work with the Latino community for a long time. And so we looked around the nation. We found some people had done some translations, and that's important, of brochures. But what we didn't find was any deep understanding about the cultural context of what zero waste means for the Latino community. And so we found that a need, an exciting opportunity. I think the Latino community is important in America's future. So this is an area that we're looking forward to working in.
The first step in the Latino Outreach Project was to gain some funding to support our outreach methods. And the Argosy Foundation provided key funding to help get this project off the ground. And we knew that this funding would then help us not only complete this pilot project, but would then help us in further outreach efforts. The second step was really developing what I think of as our toolkit for outreach. Before you can really go out and reach out to the community, you need to have tools to do that. And I think of our tools as the video PSA that we developed, the public service announcement. It was developed in Spanish with English subtitles, and it's in distribution on our website as well as on our YouTube channel, and it was also given to the local cable access channel who shows it periodically. Now that the video PSA has been out there for 6 months, it's been rewarding to hear the comments from people who have not only seen the video, but have said it's actually helped them in their recycling. When we began working on the brochure, we realized that it was more than just developing a brochure with Spanish language translation. One was just identifying the fact that family is so important in the Latino culture. There were actually some focus groups we worked with to really identify what are the cultural components of the Latino population, as well as what do they consider important, what are their values.
When we sat there and developed the brochures in the scheme of how we were going to do this came from the community. It's about familia, about family. We're doing this for our children, for our family, and in doing so, we're saving our planet.
To be able to measure the effectiveness of our outreach and education efforts, we needed a baseline of data. So we went into 3 neighborhoods in Longmont, chosen for their similar economic backgrounds. 2 were Latino and 1 was Anglo. And I actually was the one going out measuring the recycling rates in those neighborhoods. Measuring not only if they had their bin out, but actually looking at what was in their bin, how full it was, and what was contaminated and what wasn't. So the next step, once we had our baseline data, was actually to go out into the neighborhood, and we chose a door-to-door method. We needed volunteers who spoke Spanish. When I first started recruiting volunteers, I thought I would need a lot to get this campaign rolling. But then I realized we really could get the work done with just a few. We went out in pairs, and we had a few questions that we knew we wanted to get some answers from the folks so we could find out what some of the hurdles might be to recycling. What were some of the things that maybe made recycling hard? Did they have access to a bin? Did they know that the service was available? Did they know what types of materials went into the bin? All of those kinds of details. We were excited to learn as we measured participation throughout the period of outreach, as well as for an extended period after the outreach efforts, that recycling participation went up in this neighborhood by 130%.
What I learned from this, from EcoCycle and from the city, that we did have a population group of Latinos that weren't being served, and let's do it. I learned that. I felt good by it. I feel better now than I have a long time. I understand that this same model can be used in other aspects to keep our kids in school, to help prevent crime, a lot of other methods that can be used by the model that EcoCycle and City of Longmont did in this project.
This project was more successful than we had imagined when we started off, and we're very excited about it. It was a two-way street, really. The community learned from us in those areas, and participation dramatically increased in those areas that we focused on. So that was success. But we learned as well. We learned a lot about the culture and about refining the message and about what was important from a cultural context. So I really feel like this was just phase one, and we're very much looking forward to maturing this project into a phase two and going even further. I think we've just begun, and it's been very successful, more successful than we thought it was going to be. There was one very exciting, unexpected outcome of phase one of this Latino outreach project, and that had to do with the Latino and Latina Chambers of Commerce in the Front Range of Colorado. They heard about our work, and we've been in touch ever since, and we've begun discussions around green jobs development through the zero waste path, which creates 10 times more jobs than landfilling. And so we're now making inroads with the Latino business community in ways that we had never imagined, and I think there's great opportunity ahead there.
To learn more about EcoCycle's Latino Outreach Program, and to view or order the outreach video, brochures, or other materials used in the program, visit www.ecocycle.org. Stay tuned for updates as EcoCycle continues its work on additional Latino outreach programs.